Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Hoplite channel. This is Stoicism, a primer, part 3. I've decided after enough deliberation that 3 parts is going to be just about right for a Stoicism primer series. I could drag it into a 4th, but it's going to get repetitive, and I prefer to get actually into the actual Stoic philosophy as it was written down and passed down from the titans of Stoicism. They're going to be able to say things about Stoicism that I'm trying to, articulate to you, but they're going to say it in much better fashion because they're smarter people. So without further ado, I will get through part 3 of the primer here, and then we'll move on to more source material, which honestly is much more interesting than hearing me talk about what is Stoicism, where did it come from, so on. So anyway, I concluded the second video of it following on how Stoicism uses the motivation of happiness as why we pursue the things we do. Everybody wants to be happy, right? Well, how do we achieve that happiness? Well, the virtues are what beget happiness. Virtue is something that is considered vital to the human spirit if it is to progress, if we are to live in a society that values human life, human contribution, and individual rights, as it were. Continuing on that thought with the 4 cardinal virtues, we move to this. So if self-control is greater than emotions, you will avoid error and judgment. Self-control, as we were saying in the previous videos, is paramount in Stoicism. If you do not know self-control, you cannot know mastery over your own emotions. If you do not have mastery over your emotions, you will make errors in judgment over and over again. So the Stoic seeks to amplify self-control to the point where it overcomes emotion and we no longer lead ourselves into these errors in judgment. We no longer let ourselves be led by the nose when we get angry, when we get sad, when we get joyous. Even joy can lead us into errors in judgment. So if self-control is greater than emotions, as every Stoic should strive for, you will avoid error in judgment. If you avoid errors in judgment, you will hone reason, or logos, as the Greeks would call it. Avoiding errors in judgment hones reason. So the more you practice self-control over your emotions, the more you avoid errors, and the more you avoid errors, the sharper your blade, as a way of putting it, becomes as it is in regards to reason, to logos. Your logic becomes your self-control. Your emotions are now taking a backseat to your logic, to your reason, to your self-control over how you perceive the world as it comes to you, when it comes to you. That's logos is where we get obviously the words logic and logical. So your reason now is what is your driving force in life. You no longer let yourself jump to emotions. You let your reason always take the wheel. Good way to live. Okay, here's the problem. The non-Stoic lives this life. The Stoic lives this life. We'll begin with the non-Stoic. Everybody can agree that there are things within your control and things that are outside of your control. What's something that everyone can agree upon that is outside their control? Well, let's say the weather, right? If I wake up one day and it's pouring rain, there's nothing I can say or do that's going to stop that rain from falling. Nobody's going to disagree with that, right? If it's raining, it's raining. You're just going to have to wait till it stops raining, or you're just going to have to go out with a jacket and an umbrella and, deal with it. Everyone can agree with that. Things that are within my control, what I spend my money on, what I seek as entertainment, what kind of food I prefer to eat, who I prefer to associate with, what opinions I form, based upon the people I meet and the things I see, that's all up here. No one's going to tell you what you can and cannot think. That is strictly within your control. So what is this blue checkered area that I have here? Well, the non-Stoic believes that there are things within my control that come from the outside world. And this is the area that leads to pain and suffering. This is where the non-Stoic finds their sources of pain and suffering. Now, some people, this shaded area is much larger. In the sense, this Venn diagram, these two orbs, converge on each other so much so that there's a large checkered area, because people think they have control over things they really don't. For example, like I really like this girl. I'm going to ask her out. I think if I just do the right things or say the right things, she'll see things my way and she'll fall in love with me the way I love her. Well, you don't have control over that. If people have individual agency, which we believe, then only she has control over that. So in that blue area, you are now presuming that because your control is up here, you can extend that control over here. But this is the overlap, and this is the area in which pain occurs. So if you desire that girl and she rejects you, well, now you feel pain because you're not realizing what was in your control. But the problem is only you had control over your own thoughts. You had no control over her thoughts. You were hoping you did, but that's the blue area. And the pain of being rejected is what leads to your suffering. Okay, moving to the Stoic. The Stoic believes there are the same two orbs, those things that are outside your control and those things that are within your control. Outside my control, within my control. The Stoic does not allow the overlap to occur. He exercises self-control. He does not let his emotions, in this scenario, the desire to take over. It's like, wow, she's gorgeous. I hope I can say the right things or do the right things to, make her see things my way, that we belong together. But if she says no, well, then obviously, that's just the way it is. I cannot make her think things are different. I cannot make her believe what I believe. That's outside my control. So if that rejection does happen, I will take life as it comes when it comes. And if that rejection happens, then I will maintain that separation and I will not let it overcome me to the point where I suffer because of it. This separation is logos. That's reason. That's where your self-control avoids errors and judgment. The error and judgment here is thinking that you can control how someone else thinks. You can't. You may think you can, but the only thing you really have control over is, as I said, everything up here in the brain pan. Same is true for everyone else. So if the logos and reason maintains this balance, the Stoic finds this balance and understands life. This is the understanding. This is where peace resides. These two orbs side by side, and you know the difference between outside and within. So logos will give you understanding, and to understand is to be at peace, right? People say that the majority of fear resides in the unknown. You don't understand. Therefore, you cannot be at peace with what you don't understand. Fear of the dark, right? I don't know what's in that darkness. Could be nothing. Probably nothing. But there could be something that could harm me. I don't understand the darkness because I can't see. I don't understand what is in there or what isn't in there. I can't be at peace because I don't understand the darkness. There's too much in there that's unknown. That's why logos will lead you to a path of understanding. Outside and inside control. Okay. I think that kind of brings us to the conclusion of the primer. Okay, you can take these three parts, the primers 1, 2, and 3, and you can pretty much deduce where Stoicism is going. So now we'll go into more detail, and we're going to get to the fun stuff, in my opinion. The 3 Stoic Titans, and we'll begin in order when they essentially hit the scene, when they became great minds in their own right. And they are great minds because I wouldn't be reading them and I wouldn't be recommending them to you and they wouldn't be in print if they still, didn't hold their weight in value. And those three individuals are Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Marcus is my favorite. He's probably most people's favorite, but they're all great in their own right. So we'll start with the three titans coming up in the next video, and we will start with Lucius Annaeus Seneca. Okay, once again, thanks for tuning in, and take it easy.